The final step in configuring the blending optimization scenario is to define the equalization rules using the product rules tables. So we'll enter the experiment level and go to product rules in the financials accordion. From here, we'll have to set up a product rules group, which we will rename Industry EQ. From here, we will add a product threshold. For this model, we'll be creating equalization rules that will be added for both crude and condensate products. The equalization rules for density and sulfur content for crude and condensate products will be the following. Now, let's start by configuring the crude density threshold. So we'll name our threshold crude density. The rule type will be equalization other, and therefore our parameter, since we're doing crude density, will be density. The minimum reference will be 800 kilograms per meters cubed. The max reference will be 825 kilograms per meters cubed. The minimum and maximum fields here control the range of values that the optimization engine will consider. So we'll make sure that our reference range is within this minimum and maximum range, which will make 700 to 1100. We'll leave the step at 1, and we will constrain this threshold to the products of our crude, but we'll only select MSW and WCS, since the WTI is only an index. Now that we've configured our threshold, it's time to create a product pricing. So we'll simply name this crude density pricing, and we'll apply it to the product threshold of crude density. We'll apply this configuration for all the months of all the years. Now we'll assign a credit or a debit value attributed to the reference range that we've assigned our crude density. So we have the density range of 800 to 825 kilograms per meter cubed. If the density value is below 800, a credit of 49 cents will be applied. If the value falls somewhere between 800 to 825, there will be no penalty. If the value falls above 825, again there will be a credit of 49 cents. These pricing penalties and rewards are applied for every increment of parameter unit of measure that is outside the reference range, as well as the volume of non-compliant material. Therefore, for a density infraction, the penalty is applied as Canadian dollars for every increment of kilograms per meter squared that is below or above the reference range, as well as every meter cube of volume material that is shipped as product. So now we will save. And now we'll move on to creating a threshold for crude sulfur content. So this will have a rule type of equalization other. The other parameter will be sulfur with a minimum reference of 0.5. The sulfur content will not have a max reference. The value range will set from 0 to 50, and we'll have a step of 0.1. And this will be applied to the products of our crude, which will be MSW and WCS. Now let's configure the pricing for the product threshold. So we'll call this crude sulfur pricing. Apply it to the product threshold of crude sulfur, and we'll apply it for all of the months of all of the years. Now, because we only have one reference value of 0.5% sulfur content, if the content value is equal to or below 0.5, then a credit of $1.38 will be applied. If it is above the reference value of 0.5, then a credit of negative $1.38 will be applied. And now we will save. And now we'll move on to creating the condensate density and sulfur thresholds. But you should get the idea by now, and you have all the information provided to you in table form in your tutorial document. So we'll just speed this bit up. We'll move on and configure the last equalization rule, which will be for the C4 condensate. So first we will add our product threshold, which we will name condensate C4. The rule type will be equalization C4 rule. The C1, C3 parameter will be C1, C3. The C4 parameter will be C4. The minimum reference will be 5, and this will be applied to the condensate. So CRW will be our applied product. Now there is no pricing attached to the condensate C4 rule. The rule is based on the amount of C4 in the condensate and the current condensate pricing. So let's save all of our product thresholds. And now that we've finished configuring our product thresholds, let's implement them in the nominations menu, where we can go to our two nominations. So let's start with the heavy, go to the product rule, and let's select our product rules group of industry EQ. And we'll do the same for the condensate nomination. And now, once we save, we are now ready to run our model again and compare the optimization results with the initial run.